Hi guys, welcome to the break room and thank you for watching. It's time for our special feature. And in fact, we have a very timely guest because May is Volunteerism Month. And joining us today is Mr. JB of iVolunteer Philippines. So JB, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me over.
All right, so first of all, I'd like to know, what is iVolunteer Philippines?
So the dream of iVolunteer is basically very simple. We want to build a better Philippines. And we do that by encouraging more people, more Filipinos to come and help the Philippines by volunteering, basically.
I like that, make a better Philippines. And can you tell us the story behind iVolunteer Philippines?
So we started about 2009. This is the time of Ondoy, right? So during the time, we validated that there's an overwhelming enthusiasm for Filipinos to help, right? The challenge was they were going to the bigger NGOs or corporations to help them because that's what they see in TV, right? But these people were saying, please don't come here anymore because our centers are overflowing with volunteers. But in fact, there were smaller operations where they needed volunteers, but people didn't know where to find them. Okay, so that's the first challenge. Second is people only volunteer during disaster. So our tagline is making everyday heroes. So how can we convert these volunteers who volunteer during disaster and make them volunteer every single day? Volunteerism doesn't mean that you go to a community, do something, go to the kids, plant trees, right? Volunteerism can be as simple as inspiring your neighbor, inspiring somebody within your circle to do something good.
Wow, so would you call this more like a grassroots movement?
Yes, yes. So it's really a movement and what do you call this? A lifestyle that we're trying to put into the consciousness of every Filipino, that they can do something even when they're at home, at school, at work, anywhere.
Well, that's interesting. I like how you called it a lifestyle that you could do at school, at work, anywhere.
Yes.
And in fact, I want to learn more about that lifestyle, but first we'll have our break.
Sure.
So stay tuned because when we come back, we'll learn more about the activities of iVolunteer Philippines. Welcome back. And earlier, JB talked about how volunteerism is a lifestyle. So would you mind to elaborate on that? How do you make volunteerism a lifestyle?
Yeah, so our dream is, as I was telling earlier, we want every Filipino to volunteer, right? So today, for example, are you dating today?
No, I'm not dating actually.
Okay. So if you are dating, you'll normally think about going to the malls, going to cinemas, going to restaurants, right? We want volunteerism to be a fourth option for people as an activity, right?
Also, like when you date someone, like you both go to
that's fun.
Nice.
Similarly for families, right? If it's a family day on Sunday, people go to mass, people go to have lunch, etc. They can also volunteer. So we want that type of consciousness that this is an option. People can do it. At the same time, it's not something that you do outside of your normal routine. As I mentioned earlier, you can do it anywhere, anytime within your circle of influence.
Wow, that's cool. And earlier you mentioned how iVolunteer not only helped make it a lifestyle, but you helped connect volunteers to other volunteers. How do you do that?
So we partner with other NGOs. So our main cause is really volunteerism, right? But volunteerism needs to be channeled somewhere because it cannot stand alone. Or I mean, we don't do volunteering just for the sake of volunteering. It needs to contribute to a bigger picture. So our other NGOs, we have about 100 partners right now in Metro Manila. So we channel our volunteers to these NGOs so that they can contribute to the bigger picture, bigger program, and bigger impact.
And usually what kind of NGOs are these? What kind of advocacies are you
So we do have a lot.
with?
We have children, environment, education, poverty, gender, disaster preparedness, agriculture, sports, etc. So we want as much variety as possible for people to have options because each one of us has our own interests, right? Some people may connect better to children, some people may connect better to sports. So we want to trigger the spark, the love for volunteering through this different or variety of options.
I really like that because we all do have our own different interests, and if you're going to make it a bonding activity, it's good to have it specifically, huh? And you mentioned the spark. Could you tell us how iVolunteer has helped light that spark for others?
Yeah, so I'll give you a concrete example. 3 weeks ago, I was in Carinderia ni Mang Orot. This is an NGO along Quezon Avenue. They provide soup kitchen every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, it's been a year's time now since she started Googling, and now she's a regular volunteer in Carinderia ni Mang Orot. Similarly, I found another one, also in Carinderia ni Mang Orot. She was from Tacloban. Okay, her family was impacted by the recent Yolanda typhoon. Then their family came to Manila. Now, she's volunteering with her father in a temple to get, as well as in Carinderia ni Mang Orot. So they're volunteering as a father-daughter tandem.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice, like what you mentioned about bonding earlier.
Correct, yeah. Then there's a third one, which is a younger volunteer. She started volunteering in college. After college, she also wanted to help, but didn't know where. So she found iVolunteer. Eventually, she also found Carinderia ni Mang Orot. And now is a regular volunteer. So the three of them are now regular volunteers of Mang Orot for almost a year now. They're close to each other. It's like their own family now.
Aww.
So you can find how would I say this? You can find like-minded people within this volunteering ecosystem, and at the same time you find another family as well.
Oh, wow. That's really nice because it sounds like Carinderia ni Mang Orot. Is that like, did that start with iVolunteer Philippines?
No, they started it started on its own, but we helped them grow.
Oh,
So before,
wow.
when you talk to Sir Benji, who's the founder of Carinderia ni Mang Orot, they were the ones cooking. It's a father-daughter as well, tandem, right? So her daughter, when they founded it, it's I think about 5 years old or 8 years old. Now, she obviously after 3 years, she's now 11 or 12. But they were the ones just doing everything. But now with iVolunteer Philippines, we were able to grow their organization. A lot of people are helping them now. He's saying that instead of cooking now, he can supervise and coach volunteers to run the organization.
That's cool how like there's even a training system involved.
yeah.
And actually, that's something I'm interested in talking about later, the particular benefits that iVolunteer Philippines can give to advocacies.
Yeah.
So, well, when we come back, so you better stay tuned because we're going to talk more about iVolunteer Philippines. Welcome back to the break room, and now we're going to talk more about how iVolunteer Philippines is able to build the capacity of existing advocacies. So earlier we talked about one particular advocacy. You were able to really boost their reach.
Yes.
And earlier in our conversation, behind the scenes, we were talking about capacity building.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so now we're also being pulled in to help the other NGOs. One is, even if they're there probably for 40, 50 years now, so some of them don't know how to handle volunteers. So we're being pulled in to help on volunteer management, develop their skills on that. At the same time, we're also helping the other NGOs to become more adept in technology, especially with social media today. So they can do a lot in terms of promoting their advocacy, and I think that's our strength as an organization, that we leverage a lot of social media to encourage more and more Filipinos to help.
Nice. Can you talk to us more about that leverage in social media?
Yeah, so we do have a lot of, every day, basically, we post some inspiration. So we hope that through quotes, through simple things, we can inspire more people. At the same time, there was a period that we're doing a 21 Day of Kindness campaign. Okay, the 21 Days of Kindness campaign basically shows you that you can do simple things to anybody, and that is a form of volunteering. So maybe you ask, why 21 days? It's because 21 days to form a habit. So we want to form that habit of positivity and share that across within your circle of influence.
Nice. And going back to, if I'm an advocacy and I want to build up my reach, especially through social media, how can iVolunteer Philippines help me with that?
Yeah, so you can reach out to us. We need to understand first what is your advocacy, so that we can properly, tailor fit the communication as well to your audience. right? But I mean, the first thing is reach out to us. You can reach out to us via contact us at ivolunteer.com.ph.
Nice.
Yeah.
And actually, real quick, what are some of the challenges that these NGOs face that you usually like to help address?
Yeah, so one obviously is volunteer management and volunteer recruitment. Second is more on communication. Third is on technology. Some of them doesn't have a website, so we help them by partnering with other NGOs who's focused on technology, bring them together so that they can start their own website. Yeah.
On their own, so their own website.
The other thing that I also forgot to mention is since we have a network now of about 100 NGOs, we see that there are a lot of SIEMs that we can connect. So for example, in Payatas alone, there are about, within our network, about 3 to 5 NGOs. But they don't talk to each other because they're very focused on their own communities. As we, pull them together, we can see that how they can work together. So we start initiating that synergy and collaboration within the organization.
That's cool. I like how you make synergy between the collaborations.
Yeah.
How do you usually decide that? How do you usually bring these advocates together to create that synergy?
Yeah, so again, it depends on their program, on their community. But if you see, we normally hold a session and invite all our NGO partners so that they can share what their strengths are. At the same time, share what's needed. And people, the NGOs would volunteer what they can offer to each other.
Oh, nice. And so, just to clarify, if I have an advocacy, it has to be an NGO first? Or
yes,
okay,
most probably.
so
because we also want to protect the welfare of the volunteers. You know, there's a lot of scams
yes.
with NGOs, right? So we also need to make sure that both sides, the NGOs' welfare, at the same time, the volunteers' welfare are taken care of.
That's good. And speaking of the volunteers, let's go to that now. If I want to volunteer and make it my lifestyle, why should I go to iVolunteer Philippines?
Okay. One, volunteering is an adventure. Okay. So when I started volunteering about 20 years back, I wasn't like this. No? So it was more fun. I got invited by somebody, come, let's volunteer here and there, right? So it's fun. But over the years, I got to develop myself, my skills, my leadership, my soft skills as well, right? And I got to meet a lot of people. I got to travel. So there's a lot of fun things as well in volunteering. So some people get intimidated that when they hear volunteerism, it immediately translates to you need to save the world, right? But normally it would start within yourself. The development will start with yourself, right? And I will just invite people that this is an adventure. Just take that leap, and eventually you'll figure it out, right? Whatever your cause is, wherever it brings you, you'll figure it out eventually. So don't get scared. And that's where we come in. We make it easy. So you can go to our website, find if you have 3 hours this weekend. Check what's available if you're near Quezon City, Makati, or Manila, or somewhere else. You can check what's available so that you can simply do that and simply start your adventure.
Nice, thank you. And would it be all right if you could invite our audiences directly?
Yeah, so guys, start your adventure now. Visit our website. It's ivolunteer.com.ph. We do have a lot of volunteer opportunities where we need you. And it's fun to volunteer. Invite your friends. I would always encourage people to volunteer in groups with their friends or in family because it's more fun to volunteer together. So you can also follow us in Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And again, if you want to contact us, you can reach us at contact@ivolunteer.com.ph.
And before we wrap up, I was just curious, are there any education opportunities for volunteers? Will we go through any training?
So we don't have a formal training if you go to our website and volunteer. But we do hold community meetups. We just had one last weekend. It was focused on elections. So depending on the campaign that we are doing, so we organize our topics in campaigns. We will bring together volunteers because we also realize that volunteers want to meet other like-minded people, right? So we have this community meetup so that they can meet other volunteers as well and share their stories. At the same time, we bring speakers for them to get inspired further.
Nice. And when's your next activity?
We're having one. So the big one will be this coming May election. So from May 9 to May 30, we're holding what we call this a volunteer opportunity validating the elections result with PPCRV. So that will be in Popayos. Again, if you want to volunteer, just go to our website. You'll see a lot of options for you every day from May 9 to May 30.
Wow, that's very exciting. Thank you so much, JB. And thank you guys for viewing, for watching us. And I hope that you do make volunteerism an adventure, a lifestyle. And so make sure you check out their website, check out their different social media, right? And that's all for our special feature. We'll be right back.